So the hobby stacking that I do is that I will find one specific hobby and I will try. Hi and welcome back to my channel. On this channel you will find productivity tips specifically for multi-passionate or multi-potentialite people with a lot of hobbies, people who are very busy and will get bored very easily. We're gonna talk creativity, language learning and much more. On this video I would like to tackle the question of how do you know that you're falling into this category. I think there is a lot of stigma in the productivity world or in general in personal development, which I had a really hard time accepting. The whole idea was everybody needs to be improving or focusing on one thing at once. I completely get the whole thing of you will only get better if you're focalizing only on one thing, one task at a time, one skill at a time, and you would only get better by repetition. The problem is when repetition is boring for you. And that's the case for me. I just can't be bothered by doing the same thing over and over. Then what's the next big step? Over the years, I've developed a few strategies to help me improve while not being still bored. Today I wanted to share those strategies and hope that can help you as well. The first strategy for me was to focus not on one but on a few skills or hobby. Let me rewind. I just said, yeah, I can't focus on one thing. But actually, I can focus on a few different things. And if you are a little bit familiar with the multi-passionate or multi-potential, you know there is different type of profile. And my specific profile is that I'm a cycling. Yeah, you're gonna ask, what is a cycling? A cycling multi-passionate or cycling multi-pod is someone that would collect a lot of hobby, interests, or things they would like to work on or get to know, but they will start doing it, have a little bit of progress, stop to start something new. But eventually they will go back, maybe a year later, maybe a month later, but eventually they will go back to this hobby. And over the years, I realized this is the style that I am. So that has helped me a lot because I am not able to work with one specific hobby, let's say with crochet, where I love to do the crochet. When I get bored, I will maybe work on designing crochet pieces without actually crocheting because I like the designing process. I recently made a video, for example, on how you crochet freeform. So I'm also using one hobby and working around it while not specifically doing it. That's a way to do it. I can also decide to pick a few hobbies and allowing myself to do them over and over and stop whenever I want without feeling the pressure. The second tips that I have for people that get bored very easily with hobbies is to create a hobby space or a creativity space. I think that has helped me, maybe not as much as I want, but I know that can be very useful, and that it's linked as well with whenever I feel like doing something, the friction to start it is it's reduced. So if I want a draw, I can draw on my iPad that I have. I can decide, okay, I'm just gonna draw and use the Apple Pen. But also if I would like to actually have a sketch, I have already in this corner, I have the canvas, I have acrylic paint, but I also have regular paper, I have pens, coloring pens, so I have everything. So nothing is stopping me from jumping from digital drawing to literally coloring something and then going to, oh, I want to do 3D. I realized that my hobbies are not specifically one thing. It's more, I like to create, I just don't know yet what I like the most, and I like to do different things. I have this discussion with a friend, and she was telling me that artists usually touch a little bit. I'm not saying I'm an artist, but I enjoy the creative process. So having a dedicated space is very important because I can stop in the middle, come back in 2 days, and I just leave it there. It's not my working space. It's a space for my creativity. That is the second tool that I use, or the second tips that I use in that sense. And the last one is, for me, what has helped me a lot, and I think I'm still experimenting with, is to compound different hobbies. How do you compound different hobbies? Sometimes I call it habit stacking or hobby stacking. So the hobby stacking that I do is that I will find one specific hobby and I will try to combine it with another interest. For example, with crochet, I love to crochet, so I will do the crochet itself, but I can also spend time on designing a color palette that I would use for some pieces, or thinking of collection and doing the whole brainstorming of creating a fashion collection, fashion brand. Even if I've never sold those crochet pieces, I just like the whole process of building a crochet handmade collection. This is what I like, so I can combine two hobbies within one. I really recommend that. I was also interested in the music space or art space, and although this is not something I would like to pursue now, I was thinking I can learn the technicalities of it, but I can also write. Yeah, so I can do the whole production, which is something a bit different than writing. So I can write poem, not specifically write lyrics. And I think that is really great to combine two different things. I always think documenting is great because you can go back easily. I have done some project where I started, I've done the whole draft, and if I want to go back, I know everything is there. I have all of my notes in Notion or Obsidian, and all of the information that I need are there, so I can go back anytime that I want. So those are the things that I really recommend. If you have a lot of hobbies and you're somewhat very busy and constantly getting bored, how do you cope with that? I think a lot of the time, it's all about like the opinion of other people, or the ideas that the idea, or it can be the idea that you are failing at keeping up with one thing, or you are not consistent enough, which it's not necessarily true. It can just be that this is not your style. You're maybe not someone that go full on into one space and stick with it for years. There are certain multi-passionate, multi-pod. They want to be an expert in one field and then jump to another. I feel like all of us have we're all multi-dimensional. So I don't really get the whole idea why people think it's weird. I think it's normal. For me, having a lot of hobbies are the basis of personality. You're never one person or one personality. I hope that would be helpful, and I will continue making more video on the topic because I realize this is a topic that is really dear to my heart, because I have been struggling years and years around this, around creativity, but also around the lack of consistency. I think we have to accept that it's okay if we're not. You still have to enjoy doing it and going through the process. So that's it for today, and I'll see you next time.